Ah, the irony, the twisted truth that no one wants to admit people love to hate, don't they? They love to watch you fall, to see you stumble, to hope that you won't rise again. They think they can push you to the edge, crush your spirit, and watch as you crumble beneath the weight of their cruelty. They believe their actions have power over you, that their words can break you, that their betrayal will leave you shattered forever. But here's where the game changes. Here's where the curtain falls and the real show begins. Because what they don't know, what they fail to realize, is that their actions, those little insignificant decisions they made in their haste to destroy you, will come back to haunt them. Oh, they might think they're in control. They might believe they're the ones pulling the strings, the ones writing the story. But they're not. No, you are the one who controls the narrative. You are the one who shapes the destiny, not them. Their actions, their arrogance, their attempts to make you feel small, those will be the very things that will destroy them. And when they look back, when they finally see the consequences of their choices, they'll realize that it was never about you. It was always about them. So sit back, my friend. You're about to learn just how sweet it is to let them make their move. Let them think they've won. And then watch them drown in the chaos they've created. Let them play their little game while you sit back and enjoy the show. Their actions will haunt them, and they'll never even see it coming. Embrace transformation by destroying the old self. The core message centers around the idea of completely annihilating your former self, including your past identities, limitations, and self-imposed constraints. In the style of the Joker, this keynote emphasizes that only through the destruction of the past, the shedding of old skins, and the embracing of chaos and unpredictability can one truly grow, evolve, and make others see the raw, unfiltered version of who you are. It pushes for a brutal honesty and self-destruction to rise above mediocrity and reclaim control. Inflict psychological havoc on those who stood against you. The second keynote revolves around the concept of psychological warfare, not just against others, but using it as a means to reshape reality in your favor. In the Joker's voice, this keynote plays with the notion of revenge, manipulation, and the dismantling of others' perceptions. By embracing the chaos of your own transformation, you can break down others from the inside out. This isn't about just changing yourself, but making sure that those who doubted or opposed you feel the effects of your evolution deeply, internally, until they crumble. You think you know yourself? That you've become someone worthy of admiration? Oh, how cute. We all carry these fragile little facades. It's these personas we so desperately protect. You wake up every day, look in the mirror, and smile at the reflection that tells you you're fine. You're strong. You're the same old predictable version of yourself, the one everyone expects. The same routines, the same lies, the same boring little world that you've built around your own insignificance. But you see, you're lying to yourself. You're too afraid to admit that you're nothing but a fragile shell, a weak, hollowed out being pretending to be something more. You think that's enough? To just go through life like everyone else, clinging to your mediocre identity like it's something special? You're scared, aren't you? Scared to admit that you're nothing but a faded copy of the people who've come before you. You're playing their game. But what if I told you that the only way to truly break free from this misery is by killing that old version of yourself? Yes, kill it. Destroy it completely. No mercy, no mercy, no hesitation. Just let it go like a poison vine choking the life out of you. Your old self is a liability. It's keeping you tethered to mediocrity, to the same miserable cycle. Why? Why cling to the past when it's only ever going to bring you back to the same place, over and over again? Let's face the truth here, most of you are terrified of change. You talk about wanting more, about chasing greatness, but deep down, you know you'll never reach it because you're too comfortable being the person everyone expects you to be. You've built this nice little life for yourself, haven't you? You've mastered the art of playing it safe, of blending in with the masses. You wear that mask with pride, and everyone around you buys into it, don't they? They tell you you're doing just fine. Well, let me tell you something. Fine is a slow death. You're dying bit by bit. every single day and you don't even realize it. You think you're living, but you're just existing. You're shackled to that version of yourself that doesn't know any better. That version that's content with mediocrity, that's too afraid to reach for something greater. But why are you afraid? What's so terrifying about shaking things up? About burning that old version of yourself to the ground and starting fresh? You want to make a real impact? You want to truly live? Then stop playing by everyone else's rules. Stop clinging to that safe little version of yourself that's been coddled for so long. Let it burn. Let it go. Burn everything you thought you knew about yourself. Tear it down like a crumbling building piece by piece until all you have left is pure chaos. That's where the real power lies. In the wreckage. In the ruin. In the destruction of your old self. Imagine it. Picture yourself right now in the thick of it. Everything you've known, every single lie you've told yourself, every illusion of comfort you've built up over the years. It's all crumbling away. And you feel that first rush of freedom. It's terrifying, isn't it? Because suddenly you realize there's nothing left to hold on to. No more comforting walls, no more rules to follow, no more labels to wear. You're exposed, you're raw, you're free. For the first time in your life, you're finally alive. Now, I know you're scared. I can hear the voices in your head. The ones that tell you to stop, to hold on, to play it safe. But those voices are just the echoes of your old self, the person you thought you had to be. But you don't need that person anymore. You never did. In fact, that person is the one holding you back, chaining you to a life of mediocrity. You've been programmed to believe in this weak version of yourself, and all it's done is keep you stuck in the same loop. You haven't truly lived, not really. You've just existed, passing from one dull moment to the next, hiding from the chaos that could set you free. Do you want freedom? Do you want to see what you're really capable of? Then you have to be willing to sacrifice your old self. You have to be willing to let it die, to bury it, and never look back. That's the only way to move forward. That's the only way to become something more. It's time to stop living in fear. Stop being a slave to the expectations of others. Tear down everything that defines you, every little rule, every limitation you've set for yourself. Because those things are lies. They were put in place to keep you small, to keep you complacent, to keep you locked in the prison of your own making. But you don't belong there. Not anymore. And here's the kicker the world will never understand. They'll try to hold you back, to pull you back into that safe little box you used to live in. They'll try to convince you that you're making a mistake. But they're the ones who are trapped. They're the ones too scared to change. They're the ones who still believe in that old version of themselves that you've outgrown. The truth is, they're terrified of what you're becoming because deep down they know they can never do what you're about to do. They can never kill that old self. They'll stay small, they'll stay weak. But you're breaking free. So what's the alternative? You keep clinging to that old version of yourself, right? You keep playing it safe, keep letting fear dictate your choices. You keep pretending to be someone you're not, all for the sake of comfort, for the sake of fitting in. You'll go through life as nothing more than a shadow, a pale imitation of the person you were meant to be. Is that really what you want? To be a ghost of your own potential, forever wondering what if? You have one shot, one chance to make your life matter. And that's not going to happen unless you obliterate the old you. You think you can grow without shedding that skin? Without burning down the walls that have kept you confined? You can't. It's not possible. You want to become something real? Something dangerous? Then stop pretending. Kill the part of you that's afraid to evolve, that's afraid to take risks, that's afraid to break free from the lies you've told yourself. It's time to embrace the chaos. It's time to destroy everything you thought you knew about yourself, and in doing so, let the world see who you truly are. Because that's where your power lies. In the destruction. In the rebirth. You want to make an impact. You want to leave a mark that will haunt others? Then get ready, because it's time to play the game in a way that they'll never see coming. They think they know you. They think they have you figured out. But here's the thing, people are predictable. They're so easy to manipulate, so easy to bend to your will if you know exactly how to push their buttons. They think they control the narrative. They think their actions and words don't matter. But they're wrong. Oh, they're so wrong. You see, it's not just about what they do to you. It's about how you use it, how you twist it into a weapon, how you make their actions come back to haunt them in ways they'll never expect. The truth is, people are fragile. They carry around all these walls, these egos, these false ideas about themselves. But at the end of the day, they're just like anyone else, weak, insecure, desperate for validation. They think they can throw you away, discard you like a broken toy, but what they don't understand is that they're playing a game they can't win. You see, you're not just a victim. You're not just someone to be trampled on, forgotten, or thrown aside. No, you're a puppet master. You're the one pulling the strings. You're the one who controls the narrative. And the best part, they won't even know they're being played until it's too late. They think they've defeated you. They think they've broken you. But what they don't know is that when you're shattered, when you've been pushed to the edge, that's when the real power starts to rise. That's when you get dangerous. Because they've underestimated you. They've misjudged your potential. They think you're weak because they've seen you stumble, seen you bleed, seen you fall. But they don't know what happens when you get back up. They don't know what happens when you stop caring about the rules, about the things they hold dear. They don't know what happens when you stop playing by their script and start writing your own. You want to make them suffer from within, then it's simple, turn their own actions against them. Let them think they've gotten away with it. Let them believe their lies, their insults, their manipulation has had no effect on you. But behind that facade, you're plotting, you're watching, you're waiting. And when the time is right, when they're least expecting it, you strike. But it's not about physical retribution. No, it's about psychological warfare. It's about getting under their skin, making them question everything they thought they knew about themselves. You see, people are fragile creatures. They're built on lies, on fragile little illusions they've created to protect themselves from the truth. And when you know how to break down those illusions, when you know how to make them doubt their own reality, that's when the real fun begins. You start with the little things, the subtle jabs, the sly remarks, the undercutting compliments that make them question whether you're really on their side. You never outright attack them. No, that would be too obvious. You make them doubt themselves, you plant seeds of doubt, make them question their own decisions, their own sense of self-worth. You twist their words, distort their actions, and watch as they spiral inward. You see, the human mind is a fragile thing. People can be driven to madness by something as simple as a whispered lie, a suggestion that their entire life is built on a foundation of weakness. And once they start to doubt themselves, once they start to wonder if they're the ones who are broken, you've already won. They'll never see it coming. You control the narrative. You make them question their every move, their every choice, their every relationship. You make them feel like they're trapped in a web of their own making. The more they try to fight it, the more they try to deny it, the deeper they sink. You don't need to lift a finger. You don't need to get your hands dirty. You just need to keep playing the game, keep throwing those little bombs of doubt. Keep watching as they implode from within. Because in the end, their actions will haunt them. They can't escape it. They can't run from the consequences of their choices. And while they try to hold on to their fragile sense of control, while they try to convince themselves that they're still the ones in charge, you're the one who's really pulling the strings. But here's the thing, you don't do it for the satisfaction of seeing them suffer. No, that's not the game here. You don't do it to get revenge, to settle the score. That's just a side effect. No, the real reason you do it is because it's fun. It's thrilling. There's something intoxicating about knowing that you can break someone down, knowing that you can make them question their own sanity, their own purpose. It's power, pure and simple. And power is addictive. The more you realize just how easy it is to manipulate them, the more you'll crave it. You'll crave the control, the ability to make them dance to your tune. And once you've tasted that power, once you've seen how easily people can be bent to your will, you'll never want to go back. But you also know that it's a dangerous game. You know that playing with fire can burn you. You know that if you're not careful, you can lose yourself in the process. But you don't care. Because at the end of the day, you're not afraid to burn everything down. You're not afraid to destroy the illusion of control. And that's what sets you apart. You're willing to walk into the chaos, to embrace it, to wield it like a weapon. And when they least expect it, when they think they've escaped, when they think they've gotten away with everything, you make them pay. You make them pay for underestimating you. You make them pay for thinking they could destroy you without consequences. And by the time they realize what's happened, by the time they see the damage, it's too late. They'll be left to pick up the pieces of their shattered lives, their broken minds. You don't need to say a word. You don't need to raise a hand. You've already won. Your actions will haunt them long after you've moved on. And in the end, you'll be the one standing tall, the one who's free, the one who controls the game. Ah, the sweet taste of victory, isn't it? It's a strange feeling when you've played the game so well that those who thought they could crush you are left scrambling, lost, confused, and tormented by their own actions. You've been through the chaos, you've embraced the dark, and you've learned how to turn it into power. And now, as the dust settles, they're the ones who will face the consequences of their choices. They're the ones who will suffer, not you. You've become something unrecognizable to them, someone they can't control, someone they can't defeat. And as much as they try to put the pieces back together, as much as they try to hold on to the little bit of power they thought they had over you, it slips right through their fingers like sand. You've given them a taste of their own medicine, haven't you? Oh, they thought they could tear you down, break you, humiliate you, leave you lying in the dirt, but they didn't know what you were made of. They didn't realize that the more they pushed you, the stronger you would become. They didn't see that when you hit rock bottom, that was the moment you would rise up from the ashes. And now they're left holding the broken pieces of their own fragile psyche. Their insecurities, their doubts, their fears, they're all amplified now. And it's all you're doing. You've planted those seeds deep within their minds, and now they'll never be able to escape them. They'll forever question their worth, their choices, their very existence. Every time they look in the mirror, they'll be haunted by the thought that maybe, just maybe, you were right all along. But here's the kicker, none of this was personal. No, you didn't do it because you hated them. You didn't do it for revenge or petty satisfaction. No, this was about something much greater. This was about showing them how fragile they truly are. This was about flipping the script and teaching them a lesson they'll never forget. You made them see just how weak they are, how easily they can be controlled, how quickly their world can come crashing down if you know where to strike. And the best part? They'll never know it was you. They'll never know that you've been the puppet master all along, pulling the strings from the shadows. They'll wonder, they'll search for answers, but deep down they'll know that they'll never find the truth. The truth is they've been outplayed, and it doesn't matter how hard they try to cover it up, to put on a brave face, because the damage is done. You've taught them a valuable lesson, haven't you? You've shown them the true meaning of power. Not the kind of power that comes from money or influence, not the kind of power that comes from physical strength or brute force. No, you've shown them the kind of power that comes from within, the kind of power that allows you to control your own fate, to shape your own reality, and to make others crumble without lifting a finger. You've taught them that words, actions, and perception are the most dangerous weapons in the world. You've shown them that the mind is the most fragile part of a person, and once you learn how to manipulate it, there's nothing anyone can do to stop you. But the beauty of it all, you did it without ever revealing your true self. You did it while remaining an enigma, a puzzle that no one can quite figure out. You've become a ghost, a shadow in their lives, always there but never fully seen. And that's what makes you so dangerous. You don't need to make a big entrance. You don't need to scream, to shout, or to fight. No, you let your actions speak for themselves. You let the chaos unfold around them, and you simply watch from the sidelines as they burn. And every time they try to rebuild, every time they try to claw their way back to some semblance of control, you remind them of their weakness. You remind them that they'll never be able to escape the damage you've done to their minds. You see, this isn't just about making them suffer. This is about teaching them the harshest lesson of all that in the grand scheme of things. They don't matter. They were never in control, not really. And now they'll have to live with the knowledge that they've been played, that they were nothing more than pawns in your game. And as much as they try to fight it, they'll never be able to undo the damage. They'll never be able to erase the feeling of doubt. The feeling that everything they thought they knew about themselves is a lie. You've become a force, a storm that they can't escape. And that's what gives you power. The ability to create chaos, to tear apart their fragile realities, and to watch as they crumble beneath the weight of their own insecurities. And when they finally realize what you've done, when they finally understand that their actions will haunt them forever, it'll be too late. The damage will have been done, and they'll have to live with the consequences. So here's the question: do you feel bad? Do you feel guilty for what you've done? Do you feel remorse for the suffering you've caused? No, you don't. Because in the end, this wasn't about them. It was never about them. It was always about you. It was about taking control of your own destiny, about rewriting the rules of the game, and about showing them who's really in charge. And when the dust settles, when the echoes of their despair fade into the distance, you'll stand tall. You'll stand victorious, knowing that you've become something they'll never forget. The world is full of people who think they know the rules. They think they know how to play the game. But you know better. You know that the real power lies in breaking those rules, in shattering expectations, and in turning the tables when no one is looking. And when it's all said and done, when their actions have finally caught up with them, you'll be the one who's still standing. You'll be the one who's free. And that, my friend, is the ultimate victory.